Good morning, everybody. I got my coffee, I got my vape. Let's talk a little. So today I wanted to talk about the synchronicity of opportunity. But first, I need some coffee, so let's take a sip. Oh, that's always good first thing in the morning. Beautiful, beautiful spring morning. Everything is green, the birds are chirping, the lawnmowers are lawnmowing. A little early for that. If this was, what is that show? I guarantee. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna completely cut that out. So what the heck is synchronicity of opportunity? Well, first, let's look at opportunity. I'm sure you've heard the phrase that luck happens when opportunity and preparation come together. Well, I think opportunity is when vision and preparation come together. You notice that both of those have that preparation. Opportunity, they say it only knocks once, but it doesn't. It's gonna knock quite a few times. And you know what? It will come back tomorrow if you're not there. You just never know when it's gonna come back, and you have to be able to see it. You have to be looking for it. You do have to be prepared. You need to be starting today to learn the things you need to do and practice the skills that you need to do to be open for the opportunity that you wanna see. Next, you have to be able to see it. I have missed opportunities my whole entire life. I tell people that I am the most almost famous person you'll ever meet. And that's absolutely true. That's a totally different story. But it has to do with the reticular activity system. I actually looked up the name and memorized it. I've talked about this quite a bit. It's that thing that happens. Let's say you are in the market for a brand new Mustang convertible. Well, you're gonna go shopping for it and you're gonna see it over there. You're gonna start noticing that you didn't realize how many Mustang convertibles there are in the world. And you wanted that baby blue one because that was gonna be completely different than everybody else's, completely unique. Well, guess what? You're seeing them everywhere. How does that happen? You didn't see them before. Well, it's that reticular activity system of the brain. And it has a few functions, but one of them is it filters out miscellaneous and unimportant information. There is so much information going on around us, it would drive us, overload us on a regular basis. So what this does is it only lets in a certain amount of things that it deems as important. One of the things that it measures importance from is what you have given your attention to. So if you start looking for something, you start doing something, you will actually start seeing it everywhere. And that's the same thing with opportunity. I'm gonna take a sip on that one. Okay, so Phil, I'm seeing opportunity, and I'm seeing it all the time, and I am prepared for it. So let's get it. Well, the reason why I wanted to talk about this was because I've had a couple experiences last week that made me start thinking about opportunity. When you don't have opportunities, you're not seeing opportunities, or you're not prepared for opportunities, you want all the opportunities in the world to come to you. But realistically, one thing, you have to prioritize your opportunities. I think I've mentioned before in these videos that I only have 2 consignments. One is one of the largest, if not the largest, communications company, having to do with first alert radios, the towers that you see with those big old giant microwave disc things on them. They're the largest one in this part of Tennessee. And what I do for them is I sell their the things when people upgrade their equipment. They bring it in. It's still good, and it's still valuable. So what I was doing is I was listing that for them and making my commission. Most of it was pretty high dollar, and a lot of it was multiples of the same thing. So I was doing really good. It wasn't a whole lot of work that I had to put into it. But since I've been back, actually before, when I was still in Florida visiting, taking care of my mom, they called me and said that they had some new things for me. I hadn't gotten anything new from them in a while. So I told them when I got back, I would get a hold of them. Okay, well, one thing after another. And if you've been following my story, you know that one of my biggest challenges was coming back was space. So I couldn't even work when I got back, and prioritizing all these events and things that are on my plate. Well, I talked to them and I put it off and put it off and put it off, and then they contacted me on Sunday to see if I'd be able to come up and pick this stuff up, and it was okay if I couldn't. So I told them, yeah, I will schedule that in. And they said, well, you might want to bring a trailer because it's a lot. Whew. So I told them that I would probably have to be real particular because I didn't have a whole lot of storage space right now. And that was fine. Well, I started feeling my anxiety creeping up because I just got to the place where I can work. So I thought about it and I thought about it. And from previous conversations with them, I knew that some of these things were worth thousands of dollars. And I know there was a lot of other stuff, minutia kind of mixed in, that I'd have to sort through. But, you know, there was a draw. It's like, it's that fear of missing out. You know, I can make thousands of dollars in commissions on listing this stuff. It's always easy to list. And there's a clientele that's always looking for it. So long story short, I decided that this was not the right opportunity for me. I have lots of opportunities, but my number one priority was to get my life stable, get my business stable and going again. On top of that, making YouTube videos. I want to progress my channel. I want to get to the point where I'm making a little bit of money so that I can start afford to invest in better cameras, better equipment, and be able to take a little bit more time to learn more. Also, I have some other commitments. Like one of the commitments is that the lodge that we are friends with up in the Plateau Mountains, where we vacation twice a year, they're selling a turnkey multi-million-dollar business with a 15-year establishment. And they're offering me $5,000 to help them market it because it's really hard to do that when you're in the middle of the mountains. That's why I like the mountains, because I can't work. No, Google doesn't live there. So anyway, I've got all this stuff already on my plate. I've got my van almost completely cleaned out. I'm storing a few cases of coffee lids, but they don't have to be. If I need the van, I can get that stuff out of there. So it was really difficult on one side to give up the opportunity, but on the other side, I felt my anxiety level go back down. And so I had to tell them, hey, this isn't an opportunity for me. But it is an opportunity for you, because you can hire somebody, or you have kids that are of the age that, you know, they can learn how to list, and I will help them. I will teach them. I'll direct them to my videos and other people's videos, and do what they need to help them to be able to list this stuff, and then you get all the money. And they were actually really excited about that. They actually offered to pay me, and I told them that we'll see what happens. If I'm going to actually invest a lot of hands-on time into it, then yeah, but otherwise just coaching, I'm glad to do it. Well, that was an opportunity for technical difficulties with my GoPro. So let me get on back track. Let me take a sip first. So where was I? Okay, opportunity can take a couple of forms. One of them is the doorway, and that's what we expect opportunity to be. We expect it to be a doorway where we walk through, and we're moving on to the next step in whatever we're working on, whatever we're looking for. Let's let that motorcycle pass. But there's another form that it can take, and that is a walkway. It can lead us to another opportunity. It can lead us to a person. Or a group, quite a few different things. It can lead us to somebody else's opportunity. Maybe we are supposed to help somebody else into an opportunity. And then the synchronicity there is how it leads to this, leads to this, leads to that. And it all comes together in the end. So you need to be able to tell, is it a doorway or is it a walkway? Usually you can't tell that until afterwards. I'll give you two examples. Let's go back to the opportunity I was talking about. That was a doorway for them. It was a walkway for me to be able to lead them, but it wasn't my opportunity. I didn't need it. I had plenty of opportunities. That's the thing, is the fear of missing out. You don't have to worry about it, because if you're seeing opportunity and you're thinking about opportunities will come around constantly. I actually have to shut my brain off because I am constantly coming up with ideas. And that keeps me from being focused. So that's another video. But another one was the estate sale. I haven't put out the video yet. Hopefully it'll be tomorrow. It's the one where I interviewed that collector. Wasn't he cool? But I went to that estate sale because they had a $4,000 vintage synthesizer keyboard. Very, very cool. I knew that I could make some money on it. Was hoping that it was going to be a little bit less than it was. When I got there, it turns out that it was right at $4,000. So it wasn't an opportunity for me that day. I did put a bid in for it, and spoiler alert, I didn't get it. Two guys, I put in a bid for $1,600, and two young gentlemen came in there and they bought it for $2,000. And they were really going to enjoy it. They're actually going to use it. They're not going to resell it. So this is an opportunity for them to have a keyboard that they would have no opportunity. They would not be able to afford. That for a little bit of investment, they actually could, and they're going to have a really cool item. But for me, that wasn't a doorway, that was a walkway, because what it led me to is going to that estate sale, and I found quite a few I cleaned up on this, quite a few really cool things, but I found a couple of bottles of French cologne, men's cologne, that were new in the package, still had the wrapping on them. They had them for $6 a piece, plus I got 20% off because I was on their mailing list. I wound up selling them both to the same person for $450 4 hours after I listed it. That's got to be one of my quickest and best turnarounds as far as profit margin, and as far as low investment to high profits. So that was a great opportunity for me. Would I've liked to have made a couple of $1,000s on that keyboard? Absolutely. Again, that would have taken space. It needed to be cleaned. I would have to open it up and clean it out and spray it out and put it back together. And of course, I could list it as service then, but I'd have to test it. I'd have to figure out how to box it for shipping, which is not a problem. That's part of what I do, and I don't have a problem with it. But those were all added things onto my plate. Whereas I got this, and with that, I have to figure it out yet, but I should make a good $700-800 on an $80 investment. Watch the video, and I'll give you more accurate numbers. But anyway, that's two examples of walkways. You've got to be prepared for opportunity. You've got to be looking for opportunity. And then when you see opportunity, you have to qualify it. Is this a doorway or is this a walkway? Let's take another step. So that's it from my ramblings over coffee today. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, share, subscribe, always comment, and hit the ringy-dingy thing so you're notified next time I make a video. And as always, no matter what tune life plays you, always find your groove. Thanks for having coffee with me. I'll see you next time.